Well, no sign of an additional stimulus bill over in Washington with those additional stimulus checks yet to go out. But we finally have an answer on how most Americans used their first round of those checks. Sibile Marcellus has been looking at a survey for us. And Sibile, there was so much talk about how supportive the stimulus checks were of retail and how people actually went out and spent it. But you're finding that wasn't exactly the case.
Yeah, Akiko, when you actually look at how Americans spent those $1,200 stimulus checks, let's remember they started receiving them in mid April. What you see, and this is new data coming out of the National Bureau of Economic Research, you have a third that didn't spend that money, they just saved it. You have 15% who did spend that money, but just 15%. And then you have more than half who used that money to pay down debt. So I'm not hearing a lot about Americans using it to necessarily pay for future vacations or more leisure, but it's very much about the basics, the bills, keeping a roof over their head. Now, according to new research applying to this data, what they found is that the majority of Americans who actually fully spent that check, meaning didn't save it or use it to pay down debt, were Hispanic and from low income households. Now, households that are making $75,000 to $100,000 a year, just about, they were most likely to save those paychecks. And about 88% of Americans earning $25,000 or less were most likely to spend every cent.
Yeah, it's certainly not surprising given how much we've talked about minorities of color or communities of color getting especially hit hard, not just on the virus front, but on the economic front as well. Thanks so much for that, Sibile.